Unless it's threat actors in your house, to able to by the push notification press yes it is me who's trying to sign in, or they're able to enter your authenticated app and grab that code. I see no way of them truly gaining access to your account that you secure with 2FA.
Don't let cyber attacks add to your stress. Because cyberpeople.com offers cybersecurity awareness training designed specifically for small businesses like yours. Spot phishing scams, secure your network and customer information, and respond quickly and effectively if a data breach occurs. Visit www.thecyberpeople.com to learn more.
Welcome to another episode of the CyberScene podcast. This podcast is produced by the Cyber People. The aim is awareness, anything and everything cyber related. Use this platform to update you on the Cyber People's progress, one-on-one interviews with cybersecurity professionals, share our opinion on trending cyber incidents, share some tips and tricks to better safeguard yourself. You're going to hear it right here. Our aim is 1 to 2 episodes per month. We are working on a series called Our Journey into Cybersecurity. This series will focus on new and experienced professionals, which is perfect for aspiring professionals and people considering a career change. Get an opportunity to hear the journey for other professionals and persons who are now in the industry and what it took for them to get into the industry. Can it help you navigate your journey as well? This podcast is available on Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, and YouTube. The Cyber People is a cybersecurity organization based out of Bridgetown, Barbados, with focus on cybersecurity awareness. That's a word you're going to hear a lot throughout this episode. The Cyber People offer awareness training for community group, NGOs, not-for-profit organizations, public schools, religious organizations. But more information about cybersecurity awareness training is available from the website, thecyberpeople.com. Like to work with the Cyber People, send an email to connect@thecyberpeople.com. So who can benefit from these awareness programs? School children, adults, businesses, everyone. If you are hearing this podcast, then that's how far the Cyber People offering extend. The awareness training programs for nonprofit are open to Barbados and the Caribbean region, actually available right now with free and paid options. So if you want to find out more information about the Cyber People, head over to thecyberpeople.com or send an email, connect@thecyberpeople.com. Now, the definition of a strong password. Just before I give you that definition, I would like to introduce my co-host for this episode, Mikhail E. Welcome, Mikhail.
Hey, thank you for having me, Clifford. I'm not doing too bad. This will be my first podcast. I'm very excited to be here.
Usually you will see something that ended 101. It means just the basics. The thing is, when you're talking about passwords, especially strong passwords, they're not basic. You need to get it right. If you make a mistake, the price to pay is heavy. I'm going to just read the definition of what a strong password is. And this information is coming from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. And then since this is more of a governance, risk, and compliance thing, and most of the time, that's the remit fall under for businesses and companies. I'll let you speak more on that. But it says here, a strong password is a combination of characters that is difficult for others to guess or crack. It typically includes a mixture of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Tell me a little bit more what you think can be added there as it relates to strong passwords.
I think the NIST definition of a strong password really touches on the essence of what it means to be a strong password. It's a very ambitious definition, because what we found out in the world is that because passwords are so ubiquitous. Let's just take a look at all the services that we would subscribe to, be it Amazon, Meta, Instagram. When we first access those platforms, we have to enter our passwords. But the thing is, because it's so ubiquitous and because it's a common form of system authentication, it is also one of the weakest, and I can tell you why now. If you left it to the discretion of users, they will typically create passwords that are very easy to remember. So as much as we would like to strive for the NIST definition of strong passwords, we typically don't see that. Users will create passwords that mirror their family members or pet, phone numbers, date of birth. All of these can be easily discovered by someone who either knows the user, or if it's a stranger, that person could, through the simple case of social engineering, ask the user only a few questions about his or her personal life, or can even discover it through social media. And when that happens, that contributes to roughly 80% of the data breaches that we've seen, because most of them are caused by weak or stolen passwords. So I know that's a roundabout way of saying, as much as we would love to have strong passwords, it is an issue right now in today's society.
While doing some research, I also found out that NIST is recommending using it says passphrases instead of passwords. What are your take on that?
Yeah, going back to my point before, if we use it to the discretion of the users, they will use very simple words, usually dictionary words or simple patterns. For example, QWERTY on the keyboard, or they use something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a number sequence, or password 1, 2, 3. In fact, those are probably some of the most commonly used passwords. So if we were to swap out single words like password and whatnot and substitute it for passphrases, we can now create we can then up password complexity. For example, we could say something like Mount Tinker Pizza Cloud. It doesn't make sense, but it's memorable and it's a phrase. So let's just look at it. Compare the password and what I just said, Mount Tinker Pizza Cloud. Which one do you think would be easily guessable? Certainly password, right? Or even 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're introducing some randomness with passphrases, which is good because it contributes to what NIST defines as a strong password or passphrase.
So let me ask you a question. I generally don't use passphrase. I use very long passwords like 14, 15,
Right.
sometimes 20 characters long, depending on what it is. So it's like I put two words together. The words are represented by symbols, numbers, upper and lowercase characters. So I kind of keep that principle of using those things, but I use it across the passphrases instead of just password or in some cases just random characters that I would get from a password generator. I don't know, is that good? Is that bad? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're incorporating most of the features of a strong password. So let's break it down here. So a strong password or even a strong passphrase would incorporate these certain features. One, password or passphrase complexity. Complexity is critical because the longer and the more randomness or the more unpredictable the password or passphrase is, it makes it more difficult for it to be cracked using password cracking tools. Be that like a brute force attack where the attacker would try to guess your password by a number of combinations, or they could even use some other form of password hacking or password guessing. So yes, using complexity, that's number one, right? So that's a good rule. As a matter of fact, complexity, I think a good rule of thumb is to aim for at least 8 characters, with 10 to 15 being the more preferable for regular user accounts and more for administrator or root accounts. More meaning more than 15 and above for 15 characters for administrator or root account. And they should contain a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. So I'll give you an example. If you were to take let's say a quote, to be or not to be, so that's to be or not to be in plain language, then we could change that into, so we take to and we substitute that number 2. B, we could substitute that to uppercase or lowercase b, or we could play with that. We could either use the word or we could substitute that the O for 0 and use the lowercase r, or uppercase r, and go and continue along that way. So we substitute the dictionary words to be or not to be with a string of case, lowercase, numbers, special characters, and that increases the complexity. So complexity is number 1. What we can do also is to avoid using personal information such as birth dates or your pet's name. That's also a good one as well. And am I missing anything, Clifford, you think?
We say not to use dictionary words, but then we encourage to create a passphrase which is dictionary words. So I'm thinking the difference there to highlight is that two things when it comes to passphrase. One, if you put 4 words together, you're going to reach that minimum threshold of I would say 12 characters. So 4 good words could put you in 20 to 25 character space, depending on the length of the words. And I say use words that is 5-6 characters. That way you will get that length that you want, that complexity. And then I would say, you rightfully mentioned earlier, switch up the characters for numbers and symbols, uppercase or lowercase. So when you finish, although you know what the passphrase is, yes, is words from a dictionary, but then when you switch up everything, it's no longer dictionary words. It's just random things that only you know. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Precisely, yeah.
That should be a good start for getting into the habit of using strong passwords. The next thing we want to look at password managers. There are usually tools that can help you to create strong passwords and to manage your password security. And depend on the tool that you use or the password manager, you have the ability to set it up that you can either use random characters like me or like Mikhail passphrases. So it would generate a password for you based on parameters that you enter, which can be 3 words, 4 words.
Yeah.
Using a password manager offers several benefits, including convenience, because you only need to remember the master password. And if you've got a very good one, you should be good. Password manager can generate strong, unique passwords for each account. Some password managers allow you to share the password like with your family members and trusted individuals, but does not show them what the password is. Everybody shares Netflix password. You can actually, with your password manager, just get email address for the person and email them the password, and it will be a password. That process is manageable. So you can say maybe 2 weeks from now, you don't have to go and change your Netflix password. You just revoke access. You just delete that. And that's a feature in the password manager that I use, right? I've been looking up some recommendations. LastPass was the one at the top of the list for based on the recommendation I found, and that's the one I use and I would actually recommend to other persons. I also found 1Password, Bitwarden, and Keeper. I'm not familiar with the rest, but they came highly recommended, and these information came from places like CNET, PC Mag, Tom's Guide, and Tech Radar.
Right.
You can weigh in at this point on your use of password manager and your recommendation as it relates to a password manager.
Well, I haven't used a whole lot of password managers. I've been using NordPass for a number of years now.
My first step into password managers was using a free the free account, because it allows you to probably be installed or to be used on one device at a time. So if you're primarily on your phone, then you can install password manager there and then store all your passwords, and then you can then use it from your phone. You can go and view passwords and stuff like that. Or you can have it installed on your phone, on your tablet, on your PC, on your Mac, and depending on where you're working, you just sign in to that password manager, and then it will be able to, like you said, autofill those credentials on the different accounts that you may be, different websites that you may go to once you have the password saved. And there's also the added feature of passkey. So it kind of works with some type of biometric. I have a passkey feature that I use. So as we go forward in the conversation, I'll explain a little bit more on the passkey aspect of it. So while password managers are generally secure, and there are concerns about data breaches and privacy, so you need to choose a reputable password manager and enable two-factor authentication for added security, which is the next thing we're going to touch on. Anything else for password manager you think we missed?
I think not.
So everybody's going to go after listening to this and change out those passwords that you have that you know are not strong. If you have password 123 as your password, please go and change it. In your working environment and your working experience in cybersecurity and in governance, risk, and compliance, how important is multi-factor authentication?
If we were to have our password compromised today and we had no other layer of security on top of that, then it makes the account easily breached and compromised. So that's one scenario. Let's take another scenario where we have the same password and that's been stolen by a hacker. But now we have what is called MFA or multi-factor authentication enabled. So what that does, it adds another layer of protection beyond just the password. Our hacker has our password, they try to enter it into the system, but now they are met with a second form of authenticating, and because they don't have that second form, they can't enter into the account. These second forms or factors that you can add on top of a normal password, something you are, something you have, and something you know.
So while doing some research for this particular episode, in most cases when someone says two-factor or multi-factor authentication, it means the same thing. 2FA and multi-factor are often used interchangeably. There are subtle distinctions between them. Two-factor authentication or 2FA specifically require two distinct factors for verification, such as a password, something you know, and a code from a smartphone, something you have, and those little pins that you get. Multi-factor authentication now is a broader term that encompasses any security method using multiple factors, including 2FA. So while 2FA is a subset of multi-factor authentication, or MFA, can involve more factors, so not just two. 2FA is a specific type where you just need two of those factors, but then I could set up multi-factor authentication where I need to put something I know, something I have, and something I am. So I enter my password, that's something I know. Something I have would be the PIN that I receive from the smartphone, and then something I am could be a fingerprint or facial recognition.
There's nothing wrong with being too secure, I think. Yes, you may have a strong password, and that must suffice, but having that extra layer of protection gives you the peace of mind, I think. So, like I said, your password could be compromised. Let's say it's compromised. You know, maybe a hacker got into a password database, stole your password hash, and then take it offline to brute force it. They may succeed. While they may be successful entering into the correct password, even though it's as strong, I still believe having that extra layer of protection in the sense of a SMS pin or your authenticator app asking you to input a one-time password or one-time code, something of the sort will increase the odds of your account not being compromised. Having the extra layer of protection on top of a strong password is, in my opinion, something you ought to do. Some of the different types of 2FA could be the SMS-based 2FA, which is where you will receive a text message with a code to verify login. Another one could be an app-based 2FA, Google Authenticator or Authenticator, and here the app itself will generate a one-time code for you. So unless the threat actors in your house to able to by the push notification, press yes, it is me who's trying to sign in, or they're able to enter your authenticator app and grab that code, I see no way of them truly gaining access to your account that you secure with 2FA.
We did an episode on home network security, and we shared a lot of information on how to separate your guests from your internal network. And then we also spoke about physical security, where we talk about putting your cell phone in places that are not easily accessible. So again, if you guys haven't, that would be a good time, after this episode, just check the episode before home network security, and it gives you a lot of information of things that you can do as it relates to your network. And we touched a little bit on physical security there. There are some potential challenges, I would think, such as lost or stolen devices, because if I have my password manager on my mobile device, my authenticator on my mobile device as well, and I lose that, then I kind of out to sea. It comes with certain information that you need to back up and put somewhere safe. In the event that you lose that device, that you're able to then recover your account. Phishing scams can attempt to trick you into revealing your 2FA codes, so you got to be mindful of that as well.
I'll probably just add that with security comes, people think that with security comes some inconvenience. Well, because there are extra steps, but the extra security is well worth it. That's what we'll have to say. So, as much as you think it could be an inconvenience, it is well worth it. The extra security, that is.
We're gonna go into a little bit of overdrive. I'm kind of putting you on the spot. What are your thoughts on biometrics?
What are my thoughts on biometrics? That's a good question. It's by no means perfect. I can think of at least a couple of ways where I could say it's by no means perfect. One way is that you can have false negatives. And what I mean by that is that you are owner of the device and you are scanning your fingerprint, or you're using your facial recognition, and sometimes the device may not recognize it. And that's for a number of reasons. So it's supposed to be faster, but then in those cases, it could be a bit painful. It could be a bit slower. So that's one way. And another way could be from a security point of view. So I've seen cases where the camera, if you're doing a facial recognition, a person can then use a photo of yourself or whoever the device belongs to and enter that way. So while it's another factor in the 2FA arsenal, it is by no means perfect from those point of views. One from a false negative point of view, and from the fact that someone can use a photo of yourself, or if they have a recording of your voice, if that's one of the the biometrics you've used previously to get into your phone. So that's what I would say. It's by no means perfect.
One of the things that you need to be mindful of when using biometrics, especially your fingerprint, is to set up multiple fingers in the database, because sometimes that one particular finger, God forbid, you may lose it, or it may just not work and you have other options to get in. But again, most of these biometrics options come with PIN. So if it don't work after a while, then you have to enter your PIN. Two more touch points. Trying not to make the episode too long. Password best practices for children and for teens when it comes to password. We need to teach children and teens about the importance of strong passwords and safe online practices. And having a password manager helps, because then you can share passwords with your teens safely. Again, the Netflix password, you can give it to your teens so that they can sign in on their device through the password manager without having to actually give them the password that they can then share with their friends. Password manager will share, connect, everything is good. And of course, we always encourage utilizing parental controls to monitor online activities and restrict access to inappropriate contents. That's going to be pretty much my tidbit when it comes to password best practices for children and teens. Just teach them from an early age.
Yeah, definitely teaching good password habits early and educating them on the importance of privacy and so forth would be fundamental to password security for kids and teens.
Yeah, so we've covered a lot in this episode, pretty much the essential aspect of strong password security. So remember, creating and managing strong password is crucial in today's digital age. Take action to strengthen your password security. Use a password manager, enable 2FA, and educate yourself about password best practices. Any final thoughts from you, Mikhail?
If you've enjoyed this episode, I would encourage you highly to share it with your mates, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and stay tuned for more tidbits on cybersecurity, because cybersecurity starts with CyberScene.
You said it well. Thank you very much. Until the next one, guys, enjoy.
Don't let cyber attacks add to your stress. CyberPeople.com offers cybersecurity awareness training designed specifically for small businesses like yours. Spot phishing scams, secure your network and customer information, respond quickly and effectively if a data breach occurs. Visit www.thecyberpeople.com to learn more.